Round 3 of Wheeler Trucking, Sioux I-500 pole qualifying, presented by Owasso Speedway. The time to beat of 40.011, set by the number 57, Mickey's Factory Racing Polaris. All Gray, Michigan's Zach DeWall. Quick at the moment. Next rider on the racetrack, 2022 Pole Award winner, the Cubby Machine and Welding 2017 Arctic Cat ZR for KMW Racing, 24-year-old rider from Hubbard Lake, Michigan, the number 7. That is Luke Krentz. Luke Krentz aboard the number 7 machine. Right behind him, aboard the number 62, RCI Richter Construction 2020 Polaris for RCI Racing. 30-year-old rider from Traverse City, Michigan, to 61. That is Kyle Richter. Kyle Richter aboard the number 61. And right behind him, aboard the number 23 FXR Racing 2024 Arctic Cat Catalyst for Lungus Racing, 20-year-old rider from Thief River Falls, Minnesota, the 23 Abe Olson. Luke Krentz jumps on the board, his first lap of 44.054, 4.054, 2.5 seconds slower than his first lap from earlier. The 62 RCI Racing Polaris, a 44.192, 44.192. About a second slower than his best lap from yesterday. Abe Olson goes a 43.366, 43.366, about a second and a half slower than yesterday's top speed. As Luke Krentz, former I-500 Pole Award winner, makes his way down the front stretch. He'll complete his second lap of the day. It's a 43.718, 43.718. Will keep his best lap from yesterday, a 41.454. 8th quick for number 7, KMW Racing Arctic Cat. Second lap for the 62 machine, ridden by Orion Bozek. A 43.405, 43.405. Will keep his best lap from yesterday, a 43.236. 34th quick for the 62 RCI Racing Polaris. And for Abe Olson, a 43.133, 43.133 will keep his best lap from yesterday, a 43.165, 18th quick for number 23, Lungus Racing Arctic Cat. So we continue on with qualifying. Next 3 riders on the speedway, making their way down the front stretch. First up, it is the number 55, Rapid City Heating Cooling 2021 Polaris IQR for Furky Racing. 27-year-old rider from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada. It's Ryan McCaig. Ryan McCaig aboard the number 55. Right behind him, it is the number 8, Alta Equipment Company 2018 Polaris 600R for Colbus Racing. 48-year-old rider from Slidell, Louisiana, the number 8, Derek Colbus. Derek Colbus is the number 8. And right behind him, the number 10, Grateful Mez, 2021 Polaris 600R for Let's Go Racing. 37-year-old rider from Cedarville, Michigan, the number 10 of John Booth. So here comes McCaig. 16th quick coming into today. He'll stay there for now, a 43.865, 43.865, about a second and 3/4 slower than his best lap from yesterday. First lap for Colbus, he bumps up into the top 8, top 38, a 42.881, 42.881. So Colbus in the show for now, while John Booth goes a 43.216, 43.216, about a half second slower than his best lap from yesterday. Derek Colbus in that Colbus Racing Polaris was out on the outside looking in coming into today. He has bumped up to 34th quick, puts the number 79 Ritchie Racing Arctic Cat on the bubble at 38th quick, as only the top 38 sleds locked into the 55th running of the International 500 Snowmobile Race Week. McCaig second lap, 43.053, will keep his best lap from yesterday, 42.068, 16th quick for the Furky Racing Polaris. Colbus second lap, 43.211, 43.211, will keep his best lap, his first lap of 42.881, 34th for the number 8, Colbus Racing Polaris, while John Booth moves up to 29th quick at a 42.715, 42.715, 29th quick now for the number 10, Let's Go Racing Polaris. Next trio looking to make their way out of the speedway. And they'll be led off by your defending I-500 race winners. It is the number 19 Exalta 2023 Polaris 600R for Tommy Bauer Racing. The 45-year-old rider from Alpena, Michigan. The number 19 is Tyler Nichols. Tyler Nichols aboard the number 19. They're currently second quick at the moment. Second on the racetrack. The number 44 for Mash Brothers Farms 2023 Polaris 600R for WV Performance Racing. 42-year-old rider from Akron, Michigan. The 44, Kevin Vermash. Kevin Vermash aboard the number 44 machine. They're currently sitting 19th quick at the moment. And last but not least in this trio, it is the number 12, Countryside Sales and Service, 2022 Polaris 600R for Countryside Motorsports. 27-year-old rider from Cass City, Michigan. The number 12 is Eric Churchill. Eric Churchill, the number 12. They are currently sitting 23rd at the moment. Tommy Bauer Racing well into the field in their attempt to defend their crown from one season ago. They are second quick at the moment. And here comes that Tommy Bauer Racing Polaris for his first lap. It's a 42.361, 42.361. They are well within race trim. Happy with that second fast qualifying effort from yesterday. Here comes the 44, Kevin Vermash. 19th quick, they'll stay there. 45.502, 45.502, about 2.5 seconds slower than their best lap from yesterday. They were in race trim. The Countryside Motorsports Polaris, a 44.414, 44.414, about a second off their best lap from yesterday. And here comes that Tommy Bauer Racing Polaris, your defending I-500 race winners. Second lap of 41.695, 41.695 will keep their best lap from yesterday of 40.632. Second quick for the number 19, Tommy Bauer Racing Polaris. Here comes Kevin Vermash, the WP Performance Racing Polaris. His second lap, 45.077, will keep his best lap from yesterday of 42.217. 19th quick for the 44 WV Performance Racing Polaris. And for Eric Churchill, a 44.172 will keep his best lap from yesterday, a 42.393. 22nd quick for the number 12 Countryside Motorsports Polaris. Qualifying rolls on. Round number 3 for qualifying. As we are set to go, next 3 sleds on the racetrack. First up, 2004 Sioux I-500 race winners. They are aboard the number 67 Woody's Traction 2023 Polaris IQR for Hoos Racing. 27-year-old rider from Manistee, Michigan. The number 67 is Jordan Carlson. Jordan Carlson aboard the 67. Right behind him, 2-time I-500 race winners. The number 85, Malamute Saloon, 2022 Yamaha SR Viper for Swingle Malamute Saloon Alaska Racing. 55-year-old rider from Wasilla, Alaska. The 85 is Bill Wilkes. Bill Wilkes aboard the 85. And right behind them, it is the number 34, Pike Distributors, 2019 Polaris 600R for Kovar Park Racing. 37-year-old rider from Newberry, Michigan. And 34 is Danny Mackey. Danny Mackey aboard the number 34. Here comes Carlson, first lap time. He bumps up to 14th quick. He was 18th coming in to today. He's up to 14th, a 42.058, 42.058. First lap time for the Hoos Racing Polaris. Here comes Bill Wilkes, 2-time I-500 race winner. They're on the outside looking in. And still there for now, a 45.528, 45.528 on the outside looking in 39th. First lap for Danny Mackey, a 42.704, 42.704, about a quarter second off their best lap from yesterday. Keep your eye on that 85 of Bill Wilkes. They're on the outside looking in 39th at the moment. Top 38 locked in. And Hoos Racing up to the top 10. 10th quick time for Jordan Carlson, a 41.882, 41.882. 10th quick for the 67 Hoos Racing Polaris. Here comes Bill Wilkes down the front stretch. He'll see the checkered flag this time by. Wilkes' lap, 45.180, 45.180. That's not going to do it. A 44.552 is currently 39th For the Swingle, Malamute, Saloon Alaska Racing, Yamaha on the outside looking in. Danny Mackey's last lap of 42.714 will keep his best lap from yesterday of 42.422. 23rd quick for the Kovar Pike Racing Polaris. And here we go. Next rider on the racetrack. He is your provisional pole sitter at the moment. Quick time of the weekend so far with a 40.011. Aboard the 57 Mickey Sled and Snowmobile Depot 2022 Polaris IQR from Mickey's Factory Racing. 22-year-old rider from Augrey, Michigan at 57, Zach DeWald. Zach DeWald of the 57 takes the green flag. And he'll make his way into turns 1 and 2. Right behind him, aboard the 99 Arctic Cat Racing 2024 Arctic Cat Catalyst for Bouchard Racing. 31-year-old rider from Monoman, Minnesota, the 99, Dylan Stevens. Dylan Stevens of the 99. They are currently 32nd at the moment. And right behind him, it is the 41 Prestige Steel and Supply 2021 Polaris R for World Class Racing. 28-year-old rider from Tawas, Michigan, the 41 is Stephen Ullman. Stephen Ullman, the 41. They are 11th quick coming into this session. Here comes Zach DeWald. First lap time, 42.070, 42.070. First lap time for that 57 Mickey's Factory Racing Polaris. They're in race trim. First lap of 43.008, 43.008. First lap time for the Bouchard Racing number 99. And Stephen Ullman caught the bales over in turns 3 and 4, but he keeps moving forward. His lap of 49.194, 49.194. He caught the bales in turns 3 and 4, but he kept moving forward. Good thing for that number 41 team. They are 11th quick on the grid. Here comes DeWald for his last lap of this session as he slowed it down. And he slows it down to a 51.851. So his best lap is a provisional pole at the moment of 40.011. P1 for the number 57 Mickey's Factory Racing Polaris. So Bouchard's last lap, and they may get more laps at 55.691. His best lap of 42.873. 32nd quick for the Bouchard Racing Arctic Cat. While the 41 second lap of 44.505. His best lap is 41.884. 11th quick for the World Class Racing Polaris. So what we're going to do, we may end up keeping these guys on the racetrack, as the caution lap flag was called over the radio. So their all these teams' second lap was considerably slower because the yellow was called by race control. So both DeWald in the 57 and Stevens in the 99 both slowed down, so their second laps were not what they wanted them to be, obviously. That was the result of the 41 of Stephen Ullman smacking the hay bales over in turns 3 and 4, so they're going to get a second crack at this. And for these three riders, they're fine with that. As has been alluded to all weekend long, any kind of track time you can get is vastly important. So some extra time for that Mickey's Factory Racing Polaris, sitting on the provisional pole at the moment. In that number 57 machine, that Zach DeWald, James Hicks, and Larry Young Jr. will be at the controls of that 57 on Saturday. While the 99 Bouchard Racing Arctic Cat, Dylan Stevens qualifying at the moment. Paul Brown, Chad Lee, and Matt Field will also be on that sled. And as for the number 41 World Class Racing Polaris, it'll be the brothers Stephen and Scotty Ullman on that sled. Here comes DeWald, his white flag lap. 42.056, 42.056, still a second off his provisional pole speed at the moment. Bouchard Racing crosses at a 42.944, 42.944. Only a tenth off their best lap of the weekend. And they're sitting 32nd. They'd like some more real estate. 43.219, the first lap for Stephen Ullman. 43.219, about a second and a quarter off their best lap of the day. So here comes Zach DeWald one more time. At Mickey's Factory Racing Polaris, final lap of this session, 41.778. Will keep his best lap, a 40.011 currently on that Parker Ace Hardware provisional pole for the 57 Mickey's Factory Racing Polaris. Bouchard Racing takes advantage. They move up to 28th, a 42.679. 42.679 as Stephen Ullman is off the sled again. But the Bouchard Racing Arctic Cat has moved up to 28th quick at a 42.679. And there you see Stephen Ullman having all kinds of problems here in round 3 of Wheeler Trucking Sioux 500 pole qualifying presented by Wheeler Trucking. Ullman talking to track safety there in turns 3 and 4 as Ullman came off the sled. Second incident for him in this session. But good news for that number 41 World Class Racing Polaris. Their best lap of the week turned yesterday, a 41.884. Currently 11th quick for that number 41 World Class Racing Polaris. So they are safely in the field. Now they got to worry about any damage was done in the 2 incidents that occurred in this qualifying session for that number 41 World Class Racing Polaris. His official lap, his best lap of the week, as we mentioned, a 41.884 turned yesterday, is 11th quick. He will cross the stripe to officially complete his final lap. And for the record books, for those of you keep it track, a 151.005. Doesn't appear to be any visual damage on that number 41 sled, at least from what we can see. But Dave Simcoe and his crew, they'll go to work on that 41 machine. Make sure everything's A-OK for final round qualifying later on tonight. So here we go as we continue on with Wheeler Trucking CY 500 pole qualifying presented by Owasso Speedway. Next riders on the racetrack. First up, it is the number 28X Countryside Sales and Service 2022 Polaris R for Countryside Motorsports. 33-year-old rider from Unionville, Michigan. The number 28X is Cam Vermash. Cam Vermash aboard the number 28X. Right behind him. And oh, by the way, Vermash, 8th quick at the moment. Right behind him. Aboard the number 32 C-Tech 2 2024 Arctic Cat Catalyst for HC Racing. 27-year-old rider from Eagle River, Wisconsin, the 32, Zach Herfindahl. Herfindahl in the 32, they're currently 21st. And last but certainly not least, the number 20, R&R Farms, 2023 Polaris Axis for R&R Racing. 30-year-old rider from Bay City, Michigan, the number 20 is Adam Wheeler. Adam Wheeler in the 20, currently sitting 3rd at the moment. As we are in the midst of round 3 of qualifying. First lap for Vermash, a 41.518, 41.518. First lap time for Vermash. First lap for Herfindahl, 42.297, 42.297, about 2/100ths off his best lap from yesterday. And the R&R Racing Polaris, a 43.161, 43.161. They're about 2 seconds off the pace from their best lap of the week. They are in race trim. Here comes Cam Vermash in the 28X. 42.372 is his first lap. Second lap, 42.652. His best lap of the week, 41.518. 8th quick for the 28X Countryside Motorsports Polaris. Herfindahl, 42.327, 42.327. His best lap came yesterday, a 42.271. 21st for the 32 HC Racing Arctic Cat. And a 43.065, 43.065 will keep the best lap from yesterday. 3rd quick at a 41.039. The number 20 R&R Racing Polaris. We continue to roll on. Wheeler Trucking Sioux I-500 pole qualifying. Next riders on the racetrack. First up, aboard the number 48 Woody's Traction 2016 Polaris IQR for K&E Racing. 38-year-old rider from Bay City, Michigan. The number 48 is Michael Lineberger. Michael Lineberger in the 48. As he'll cross the stripe, he'll get the green flag. Lineberger currently sitting 20th at the moment. Right behind him, currently your pole sitter in the Meyer Pro Shootout at the moment. As for I-500 pole qualifying, he's 13th quick. The number 24 Advanced Installation Systems 2014 Polaris IQR for Novak Motorsports. 48-year-old rider from Maple City, Michigan. The 24 is Billy Ski. Billy Ski aboard the number 24. And last but certainly not least, the number 17, Nelson Speed Shop 2018 Arctic Cat 600 RSX for R&S Racing. 29-year-old rider from Rudyard, Michigan. The 17 is Kyle Rowe. Kyle Rowe aboard the number 17. Rowe currently, the 17 machine, sitting 30th. First lap for Lineberger, 42.905, 42.905, about 3/4 of a second off their best lap from yesterday. Here comes Billy Ski. First lap, 42.364, 42.364, about 3/10 off their best lap from yesterday, still 13th. Rowe's first lap, they bumped up a 22nd at a 42.319, 42.319 first lap time for Kyle Rowe in the number 17 machine. They bump up, give themselves a little bit more breathing room in 22nd spot at the moment. Final lap of this session for the K&E Racing machine, 42.773 will keep their best lap from yesterday, 42.248. 20th quick for the 48 K&E Racing Polaris. Billy Ski crosses at a 42.164, 42.164 his best lap from yesterday, a 42.048, 13th quick for the 24 Novak Motorsports Polaris. Kyle Rowe crosses at a 42.601. His best lap came in his first lap today, a 42.319, 22nd quick for the number 17 R&S Racing Arctic Cat. Next trio ready to roll out. And it starts off with a pair of Brownlee Boys Racing entries. First up, it is the number 77 Hunt Tree Farm 2015 Polaris IQR 600 for Brownlee Boys Racing. 42-year-old rider from Grand Blanc, Michigan. The 77 is Ryan Wolf. Ryan Wolf in the 77. They are currently 12th quick at the moment. His teammate, the number 78 Hunt Tree Farm 2015 Polaris IQR 600 for Brownlee Boys Racing. 38-year-old rider from Spring Lake, Michigan. The 78 is Chad Seiler. Chad Seiler in the 78. They're on the outside looking in. They are 40th quick at the moment. And last but certainly not least, the number 0 High Street Insurance 2021 Polaris Axis for Erickson Racing. 30-year-old rider from Fife Lake, Michigan. The 0 is Jordan Erickson. Jordan Erickson in the 0. They are currently sitting 32nd quick at the moment. They have some breathing room, but not a lot. But here comes Ryan Wolf, winner, and the Wheeler Upfitters Sioux Vintage Shootout on Tuesday night. First lap time, 43.643, 43.643. A second and a half slower than their best lap yesterday. They are in race trim. Chad Seiler trying to get that second Brownlee Boys Racing entry in. Bumps up to 39th quick, 44.256, 44.256. Needs to pick up about 3/4 of a second. Jordan Erickson's first lap, 42.951, 42.951 first lap time for Erickson. About a 1/4 second off their best lap from yesterday. Here comes Ryan Wolf, trying to break in, perhaps trying to break into that top 10. Needs about 2/10 of a second. Well, they're on race trim. 44.024, his best lap from yesterday, a 42.045. 12th quick for the 77 Brownlee Boys Racing Polaris. Can they get two of them in the show? We're going to find out. 44.392, 44.392. His best lap was his first one, 44.256. 39th quick on the outside looking in as of now for that 78 Brownlee Boys Racing Polaris. Erickson goes a 42.806. We'll keep his best lap from yesterday. Pretty close, though. 42.799. 30-second quick for the number 0, Erickson Racing Polaris. As track spotters spotting some debris over in turns 1 and 2. So we'll pause here just for a second. We'll take a short pause here. Looks like old John Babcock down there. It looks like a visor, doesn't it? It's old John Babcock, one of our I-500 board members, picking up that visor. Now, don't keep that, John. One of the guys might need that. So we continue on with Sioux I-500 pole qualifying, round number 3. The final round will be later tonight at 6 p.m. After that round is completed, we will know who the Parker Ace Hardware Pole Award winner will be. Of course, you know every time they're on the racetrack, awfully important to say the least. And here we go. Next trio, first up. They've had mechanical problems all week long. Finally getting on the racetrack for the first time to attempt to qualify here this afternoon. It is the number 52 K3 Clothing 2018 Polaris Axis for Ironman Racing. 43 years old from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. The 52 is James K. James K. aboard the number 52. Right behind him, 2022 I-500 race winners. Aboard the 28 Nelson International 2018 Polaris 600R for Nelson Racing. 47-year-old from Scandia, Minnesota. The 28 is Justin Tate. Justin Tate, the 28, they're currently 26. And last but certainly not least, good to see this sled back on the racetrack after a hard crash last night in round 2 qualifying. The number 35, Edmondson Orcas, 2021 Ski-Doo for Team Torture Racing. 58-year-old rider from Traverse City, Michigan, 35, Scott Odom. The 35 Team Torture Racing machine, they're on the outside looking in 42nd. James K. lays down his first official lap. It's a 46.2424, 46.424. First lap time. 43.309, the first lap for Justin Tate, 43.309. About 3/4 of a second off their best lap. And here comes the Team Torture Racing entry. 46.481, 46.481. First lap time. Both the 35 Team Torture Racing and the 52 Ironman Racing teams. Both on the outside looking in, trying to get into the top 38. Here comes James K. They have had problems all week long. A 45.869, 45.869, puts them 43rd quick. They've got work to do in the final round qualifying later tonight. Justin Tate goes a 42.663. We'll keep the best lap from yesterday, 42.536, 26 quick for the Nelson Racing Polaris. Here comes Scott Odom, Team Torture Racing, Ski-Doo, 46.478, 46.478. We'll keep his best lap from the first session yesterday, a 45.860, 42nd quick. They've got work to do to get ready for that final qualifying round later tonight. And at number 35, Team Torture Ski-Doo. Next trio rolling out. First up, it is the number 18, Nelson Racing 2018 Polaris 600R for Nelson Racing. The 32-year-old rider from Fergus Falls, Minnesota. The number 18 is Dan Revering. Dan Revering in the 18. They are 14th quick coming into this session. Right behind him, the third and final Nelson Racing entry, the number 25, Nelson International, 2017 Polaris 600R for Nelson Racing. 20-year-old rider from Green Bay, Wisconsin, the 25, Marshall Bussey. Marshall Bussey, the 25, and last but certainly not least, it is the number 54, Polaris Engineered Lubricants, 2023 Polaris Cross Country for Teen Heritage Racing. 34-year-old rider from Roseau, Minnesota, the 54 of Alex Hatteen. Alex Hatteen in the 54. Marshall Bussey's 15th quick, right behind his teammate, the 18 Nelson Racing entry. Hatteen Heritage Racing, 25th quick. They'd love to give themselves a little bit more breathing room, but would potentially be satisfied with where they're at. 43.695. Yeah, they're in race trim. 43.695, a second and a half off their best lap from yesterday. Marshall Bussey crosses the stripe. 42.434, 42.434. A little under 4/10 off their best lap of the day from yesterday. Hatteen Heritage Racing, a 43.262, 43.262, about 3/4 of a second off their best lap from yesterday. So here they come one more time. A duo of Nelson Racing Polarises make their way down. First up, the 18. 44.088. His best lap from yesterday was a 42.058. 14th quick, the number 18 Nelson Racing Polaris. Here comes Marshall Bussey. 42.269. His best lap from yesterday, not bad. 42.064. 15th quick for the Nelson Racing Polaris. Here comes Alex Hatteen. His final lap of this session, 43.426. About a second off his best lap from yesterday at 42.438. 25th quick for the 54 Hatteen Heritage Racing Polaris. Next trio about to make their way out. And there you see one of the very best in the business making his way out onto the legendary 1 mile High Bank Ice Oval. A 6-time I-500 winner aboard the number 74 Polaris Racing 2023 Polaris 600R for Bunky Racing. 42-year-old rider from Matisco, Alberta, Canada. The 74, Aaron Christensen. Aaron Christensen in the 74, currently 5th quick at the moment. Right behind him, his teammate. They are probably going to join forces in the second Bunky Racing entry. The 14 Polaris Racing 2023 Polaris 600R for Bunky Racing. A 3-time I-500 race winner. 28 years old from Kindred, North Dakota. The 14 of Taylor Bunky. Taylor Bunky in the 14. They are 17th quick at the moment on the 14 machine. And last but certainly not least, currently 37th quick on the grid, the number 79 Northern Services and Cleanup 2016 Arctic Cat CR for Ritchie Racing. 38-year-old rider from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada, the 79 of Jake Ritchie. Jake Ritchie in the 79. Here comes Aaron Christensen. They're in race mode. 43.391, 2.25 seconds off their best lap from yesterday. Here comes Taylor Bunky. They may not be in race mode. Of course, I could be wrong. 42.407, 42.407, about a 1/4 second off their best lap from yesterday. So maybe they are still in qualifying trim. Jake Ritchie is 37th. He'd like to give himself some breathing room. He didn't do it that time. 43.951, 43.951. 4/10 off his best lap from yesterday, which is 37th quick, 1 spot above the bubble time, which, by the way, is a 43.531 by the 75 Schwartz Racing Polaris. Second lap for Christensen, 43.281. Will keep his best lap from yesterday of 41.291. 5th quick for the 74 Bunky Racing Polaris. Taylor Bunky crosses 42.513, 42.513. His best lap from yesterday of 42.118. 17th quick for the 14 Bunky Racing Polaris. Here comes Jake Ritchie. Ritchie crosses the stripe. 43.960, 43.960. Yesterday's lap of 43.522. Still 37th quick for the 79 Ritchie Racing Arctic Cat. They're in, but not very comfortable. It's almost like having a wedgie. That's how uncomfortable they are at the moment. 37th, 1 spot above the bubble time. So we will continue on. This may very well be the final group to roll out. Oh, we'll have at least one more. As here we go. Next up on the racetrack. Also suffering a crash yesterday in round 2 of qualifying. Good to see this team back out. The number 50 Northern Crankshaft 2017 Arctic Cat. For Northern Crankshafts Racing, 44-year-old rider from Zimmerman, Minnesota, the 50 of Eric Rowland. Eric Rowland in the 50. They're 41st quick on the outside looking in at the moment. And there you see it is Ken Murphy, the 38-year-old rider from Oswego, New York. They'll let him go by himself for the moment. 42nd quick. Their best lap from yesterday, a 45-125 in the first qualifying session. 2.5 seconds from 38th quick time. Here comes Murphy. Down the front stretch, white flag. 46.347, 46.347. Needs to pick up a second and a half to get to yesterday's best time. And then another 2.5 seconds to get into the top 38. Ken Murphy from the super modified capital of Oswego, New York. Those of you who are into circle track, oval track racing, the home of the ISMA Super Modifieds is Oswego, New York. The famed Oswego Speedway, right off of Lake Erie. Those of you who know your geography of the Empire State of New York. John Wiggs looking up on his phone right now. See how far it is. Ken Murphy crossed the stripe. 45.781. 45.781. So his best lap of 45.125. 45.125 is his best lap. And here we go. This should be the final group. Here in round number 3 of qualifying. And first up, former Eagle River World Champion. Aboard the number 02, Jay's Power Center, 2024 Polaris IQR for Jay's Power Center Racing. 37-year-old rider from Reedsburg, Wisconsin. The 02, Jay Middlestat. Jay Middlestat in the 02, currently 32nd quick at the moment. Right behind him is his pseudo teammate, at least for now, until the end of qualifying. The 22, Richie Propane. 2020 Polaris IQR for Richie Motorsports, 28 years old from Minocqua, Wisconsin. The 22, Matt Ritchie. Matt Ritchie in the 22. They're currently 34th on the grid. And last but certainly not least, it is the number 75. K&S & Company Exteriors, 2018 Polaris Axis from Schwartz Racing. 40-year-old rider from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada. The 75, Ken Schwartz. Ken Schwartz in the 75. First lap time for Middlestat. 44.526, 44.526. Well, our thing went crazy here for a second. 44.526 was the first lap for the 02. For the 22, our race monitor went absolutely haywire there for a second. We apologize for that. 43.084, 43.084 first lap for Ritchie. About 4/10 off his best lap. Well, Schwartz, 44.395, 44.395 moves him back into 38th. He's on the bubble. Middlestat, second lap, 43.582. Will keep his best lap from yesterday, 42.774, 31st quick. The 02 Jay's Power Center Polaris. That 22 machine, 42.890. His best lap from yesterday, 42.603. Good for 28th quick for the 22 Ritchie Motorsports Polaris. Schwartz Racing back on the bubble. He put himself on the bubble. He was 39th coming into this. And he goes to 44.307. His best lap came just a bit ago. A 43.531, 38th quick. Puts himself on the bubble at 38th quick. And that should do it. And that will do it for round number 3. And the story remains the same on top. The number 57, Felsky Farms, Mickey's Factory Racing Polaris. The 22-year-old from Augrey, Michigan. The 57, Zach DeWald leads the way in the